Have you ever felt like something is calling you from a place you can't see but can always feel? As if there is an invisible portal hidden among the events of your life, just waiting for you to pass through? What if I told you that this calling is no coincidence and that it belongs to you? Scorpio is not just a sign, it's a key, an ancient code that opens portals where most should never step. This is not ordinary astrology. We are talking about a deep spiritual force, marked by secrets, pain, and rebirth. And today, based on the prophetic visions of Cayce, the sleeping prophet, you will discover why Scorpio was chosen to cross forbidden spiritual layers. This is not content for everyone. Only those who have felt the presence of the invisible, only those who have had dreams that seemed like revelations, only those who have dived into their own shadows and come back stronger, will understand what will be revealed here. Cayce said that certain signs carry energies so intense that they are capable of altering destinies, and Scorpio is among them. The pain that this sign carries is not a punishment, it's a ritual, a spiritual seal of someone who came into the world with a silent but powerful mission. If you are a Scorpio, or if you live with someone of this sign, prepare yourself. From now on, what will be said may awaken memories, sensations, and signs that were dormant in you. But before continuing, tell me something in the comments. Have you ever had a feeling so strong that it seemed to come from another dimension? Share your experience. Perhaps you are also more connected with the invisible than you realize. If you've ever experienced something that logic couldn't explain, if you've ever felt a shiver for no reason, or dreamed about something that then really happened, then comment here. I feel beyond. Your comment is not just a response. It is a spiritual confirmation that this message reached the right person. What we are going to reveal below goes far beyond common predictions. This content is a key, and only those who carry the Scorpio frequency or have been called by it will feel the vibration of what is being said. Therefore, it is essential that you watch until the end. Each sentence was built based on messages that Cayce left which were ignored for decades. Now, they are being activated again. Leaving your comment, your like, and subscribing to this channel is not just a gesture of support. It is part of your ritual of alignment with what is to come. Believe me, this also moves the wheels of the universe. And more than that, when you sign up, you enter a sacred space, where with each new video, a new layer of your awakening is activated. This channel was created for those who seek and those who feel. So if something inside you is telling you this is different, listen. Because when we talk about Scorpio, we are not talking about the obvious. We are talking about crossings, portals, new beginnings that are expensive, but reveal non-negotiable spiritual gifts. In the next moment, you will understand why some call Scorpio the guardian of the unseen, and why your presence transforms everything around. Have you ever felt like you're stuck between worlds? Like there's something inside you that only you understand? An old feeling, as if your soul carries memories that not even your mind recognizes, but that visit you in deep silences, on nights where sleep doesn't come, and all that remains is a sensation that there is more, and you know it. I always knew, even when they tried to convince you otherwise, even when they said you were too intense, too strange, too closed off. They never understood, but you felt it, still feels. Scorpio was not born to fit in, born to dive. While others swim on the surface, you dive deep where it's dark, where it hurts, where no one else wants to go. And that's where you find the answers that others avoid. That is his curse and his power. That's why the universe marks you with experiences that many couldn't bear, because your soul is older, because your path requires courage, silence, and rebirth. Cayce knew this. When describing Scorpio souls, he wasn't talking about personality. He was talking about destiny. According to him, Scorpios were created with an energetic structure capable of breaking the layers that separate the planes. And this crossing is not symbolic. It happens in the body, in dreams, in traumas, and in the cycles of loss and return that only those who are of this sign understand. Have you ever noticed how everything in your life seems to come with more intensity? When you love too much. When you suffer to the last drop. When you suspect, you feel it in your body. When you dream, it is as if you are living another reality. This is not emotional exaggeration. It's a rare and extremely potent type of spiritual sensitivity. And that's precisely why many Scorpios we are guided by signs, goosebumps out of nowhere, internal voices that tell you to leave, a weight on the environment before something bad happens, visions, sensations. The universe speaks to Scorpio in a language that others have not learned. But this connection comes with a price. The sensitivity that opens portals also exposes them. Scorpio is not a sign for the weak. It is a spiritual battlefield. You feel when someone lies, even if they don't say anything. You absorb what's in the air. You sense tragedies before they happen. And how many times has this happened in your life? How many times have you wanted to doubt what you felt, but then realized you were right all along? This is the power and burden of carrying the Scorpio frequency. It is not a light gift, but it is a true gift. And maybe now, for the first time, someone is putting into words everything you've always known, but never been able to explain. Maybe that's why you've come this far. Because it wasn't just any video. It was a calling, a rescue, a memory. Something inside you vibrated when you read the title. And now, as you listen to every word, you feel like you're not alone. That there is a plan behind your pain, your intensity, your silences. That there is a reason everything seems harder, but also deeper. Scorpio was not meant to live on the surface of existence. It was created to move between worlds, to see what others don't see, to feel what others avoid, to traverse the forbidden spiritual layers and return with wisdom. Cayce described Scorpios as transitional souls, spirits who have already lived many existences and who have now returned with the mission to transform. But it doesn't transform anything. Transform internal realities. Bring light where there is shadow. Scorpio is the alchemist of the zodiac, the one that breaks, burns, dies, and then rises again. That's why life tests you so much, because every break is an initiation. Every loss is a portal. Each fall prepares you for a type of rebirth that only you are capable of experiencing. And each rebirth reveals another layer of your true essence. Have you ever felt misunderstood even by those who love you? Have you ever noticed that even in crowds, something in you remains silent, observing everything from another angle? Have you ever had the feeling that your suffering hides a greater meaning? If so, it is because your soul recognizes the frequency of this calling. It's not about popular astrology, nor about shallow predictions. It's about spiritual destiny, about a plan that exists long before your birth, and that continues to be activated, cycle after cycle, experience after experience. Have you ever noticed that the most profound changes in your life came after pain? That when everything seemed lost, something in you was reborn stronger? This happens because Scorpio doesn't break just to suffer. It breaks down to rebuild with another type of consciousness, to abandon what no longer serves and carry only what is true. While many run from the pain, you dive into it. And there, in the darkness, he finds the key, the hidden key that Cayce mentioned, the key that opens passages to higher dimensions of perception, intuition, and healing. It's not just personal healing, but ancestral healing, collective, silent, invisible. And it is precisely because you carry this energy that you attract wounded, confused people in search of direction. They feel something in you that they can't name, but that attracts them. You are a mirror, a portal, a spiral, and often, without even realizing it, he ends up being a guide for other souls. But those who drive also get tired, and so, you need to remember that you are not alone, that there is an invisible army of protection around you, that you don't need to carry everything all the time, that there are times to be light, and there are times to be just shadow and silence, and both are sacred. Now, as these words echo inside you, perhaps you are feeling something stirring inside. Maybe memories are coming back. Perhaps old pains are reorganizing themselves within your energy field. This is normal. When the soul recognizes the truth, it vibrates, and vibration creates movement, and movement activates the next step in your journey. And even if you don't know what this step is yet, it is already taking shape, because the simple fact that you have come this far, that you are listening, feeling, and remembering, is already a sign. And signs are everything for those who carry this essence. So now I want to invite you. If any part of this video spoke directly to you, comment below. But he comments with intention. Write, "I feel beyond," if you have ever experienced something that seemed supernatural. Or write, I carry this energy. If you feel like you have a mission that you haven't yet been able to explain in words. If you felt something change in you during this video, write, I accepted my essence. It's not just a comment. It's a seal, a spiritual signature, a confirmation that you are ready to co-continue this journey. And if you feel like someone needs to hear this, share it, not out of vanity, but because messages like this are not common. And when they appear, it is because there is someone, somewhere, waiting for this awakening. Oh, and don't forget, leave a like, because this shows the universe that you are saying yes to your process. Subscribe to the channel here, because with each new video, new layers will be revealed. Layers of the invisible, from the spiritual, from the occult, and all connected to you, because this is just the beginning. If you are here until now, something inside you has already responded, not verbally, but energetically. Your presence at this moment is not by chance, and you know it. There is a synchronicity in the air. You were attracted by something invisible, perhaps even silent, but which vibrates at a frequency that only those who have passed through internal portals recognize. And if you are a Scorpio, or live with someone of this sign, you have probably already realized that there is a type of depth that cannot be faked or taught. It's like a hidden fire, a strength that burns without consuming, a perception that sees where no one is looking. This quiet intensity is what sets Scorpio apart from everyone else. It's not just about emotions. These are codes, spiritual codes, imprinted in the energy field since birth, that make these souls carry the power of regeneration, a dangerous, sacred, and often misunderstood power. That's why many Scorpios grow up feeling out of place, as if the world is too shallow, as if conversations aren't enough, as if relationships never reach the depth that their spirit demands. This is not arrogance. It's a real internal need, of real connection, of absolute presence. And in this process, how many times have you felt like you needed to hide? Not out of shame, but out of protection, because being seen really means exposing yourself. And Scorpio knows the risk of opening up, because when you open up, you give everything away. No middle ground, no reservations. But the pain of being misunderstood, betrayed, or underestimated causes this sign to create shields, masks, and strategic silences. Scorpio observes before acting, analyze, feel, predict. It's almost a walking spiritual radar. And that's why when you decide to trust, it's because you've seen much more than you've shown. And when you decide to love, you love like someone signing a pact. According to Edgar Cayce, this spiritual intensity is not free. Scorpio was designed to carry the energy of transmutation. It is one of the few signs that can deal with the densest forces in the universe and still find light within them. This means that Scorpios throughout their lives will be forced to face their own abysses, not by punishment, but by destiny. And each abyss overcome brings them closer to their center, more to their essence, more to their true mission. They are not just survivors, they are reborn, and each rebirth carries a new version of themselves. Stronger, wiser, more dangerous, in the best sense of the word. This danger, in fact, is something that others feel, even without understanding it. Scorpio carries an aura that commands respect, even in silence. It's an ancestral magnetism, a presence that changes the mood, that disturbs the weak, that attracts the curious, that challenges those who pretend. No one remains neutral in front of an awakened Scorpio, because its energy touches wounds, activates memories, reveals what is hidden. That's why many avoid them, fear them, or even try to reduce them. But none of these efforts work, because Scorpio doesn't depend on anyone's approval. Its strength is rooted in the invisible, in what cannot be destroyed. Cayce said that Scorpios have the ability to cross realities, to walk between the physical world and the subtle planes naturally. Lucid dreams, out-of-body sensations, intense déjà vu, premonitions, very sharp intuitions. All of this is part of the repertoire of these souls. They live in different layers, which is why they are often labeled as complicated, difficult, unpredictable. But the truth is that the world around them is often too superficial to keep up with them. Scorpio needs depth like it needs air. You need to delve into yourself, into others, into the mystery, because it is in this dive that you find meaning. Who understands his role in this plan? And maybe now, Listening to this, you're remembering situations in your life where you felt like you were about to go crazy, but then suddenly, something inside you woke up, as if an invisible force had pulled you back. How many times have you touched emotional bottom and been reborn in silence without anyone knowing what really happened? These experiences were not just lessons. There were activations, signs that your path is not common, and the more you try to fit into structures that weren't made for you, the more life pushes you back to your essence. You were made to lead from unseen, to heal with presence, to transform by example. Scorpio doesn't need to convince anyone, it just needs to be, because the simple fact of existing already changes the environment. Your pain is a map, your intuition is your compass, your shadow is master, and when you understand this, you stop blaming yourself for the intensity you carry. Start honoring her, using it as a creation tool, on purpose, mission. This is how you stop feeling wrong and start remembering why you came. And that is why in this moment, right now, here with me, you are being invited to activate something that is already within you. This is not about acquiring something new. It's about recognizing what has always been there. The hidden key, deep spiritual energy, the mission you pretended to forget, the strength you tried to hide. But now, all of this is being brought to light, and not by chance, but by alignment, by tune, because the frequency that brought you here will also lead you to the next stage, and what comes after that cannot be explained, just meaning. If you are feeling this now, if something inside you is vibrating, it is because the call has been heard. So, right here in the comments, I carry this energy, and if you have already gone through mystical premonitory experiences or intense rebirths, also comment, I crossed the portal. Let's see how many chosen ones are among us. Your comment isn't just engagement, it's part of your spiritual activation ritual. And if you felt that this video really touched you, leave a like. This helps expand the message and help more people who carry this same frequency find their way back to themselves. And of course, subscribe to the channel, because from now on, each video will be a new unlocked code, a new layer revealed, a new part of your essence awakening. And now that it's started, there's no going back. Cayce didn't see signs just as personality traits or behavioral patterns. For him, each sign represented a specific spiritual vibration, a soul frequency that carried with it a mission, a burden, a key to something greater. And when we talk about Scorpio, Cayce was emphatic. This is the frequency of regeneration. Scorpio does not come into the world just to live, but to die and be reborn. Not physically, but spiritually, several times. Over the course of a single life, an awakened Scorpio can go through processes of rupture so profound that they would seem unbearable to any other sign. He descends into the deepest shadows of the human psyche, his own and others, and returns with something no one else could bring, spiritual wisdom forged in the fires of silent suffering. That's why Cayce called them portal guardians. And these portals are not metaphors. They exist. They are in memories that time does not erase. They are in recurring dreams that seem to carry coded messages. They are in the synchronicities that only make sense to those who live with their eyes open to the invisible. Scorpios go through these portals alone, not by choice, but because that's how it happens. Nobody guides them on this dive. They are left in the dark, often from an early age, to discover the map of their soul on their own. And when they find out, they come back different. They carry in their eyes a type of truth that bothers those who live in illusion. They carry in silence a type of power that does not need to be announced. And that scares. Because those who walked through the shadows and survived see what others still deny. This is Scorpio energy. Intense, deep, silent, but absolutely transformative. Cayce said that these beings were born with the mission of transmuting. They are like energy catalysts. Where Scorpio is, nothing stays the same. People change, environments change, lives are reprogrammed, not by effort, but by presence. The presence of someone who has already been to the bottom and knows what it's like to breathe there. Therefore, Scorpio does not tolerate superficialities, can't stand shallow relationships, empty words, promises made to impress. Your spirit craves depth, truth, and surrender. And when he doesn't find that, he prefers silence, because in silence he hears what the world cannot say. But it is important to understand that this power is not a free gift. It takes a toll. Regeneration requires that there must first be destruction. Scorpio needs to lose to find itself. It needs to be broken to remember what it is made of. And this generates a trajectory marked by crises, rebirths, and revelations. Every pain serves a purpose. Every loss is an activation. And no matter how much it hurts, something inside the Scorpio knows that it is being prepared, that it is being shaped by something bigger, that chaos does not come to destroy it, but to forge it, because it is precisely in the ruins that he finds his true strength. And it's curious how, throughout their lives, these beings are tested in everything they love most. Scorpio loves deeply, and that's why T also suffers deeply. But it is in this love that he discovers who he is, because unlike other signs, Scorpio does not love out of lack or necessity. Love like a ritual, like an energy pact. And when that love is broken, he doesn't just grieve, he transforms. It's as if each emotional loss brings you closer to your true center. And in that center there is no more room for illusions, just for the essence, for what is real, for what vibrates. This is the truth that Cayce saw and that so many ignore. Scorpio carries a type of light that is only accessed after darkness. It's not an ordinary light. It's not forced positivity. It is a raw light, embedded in the experience of those who have survived themselves. And this cannot be taught. It can only be lived. And that's why Scorpio often seems distant or closed off. He's not just protecting himself from people. You are protecting yourself from the energies, imbalances, and emotional manipulations that you already know so well. He feels everything, absorb everything, and you need to learn throughout your life to discern what deserves your energy and what just wants to drain it. It is this spiritual discernment that makes Scorpio a rare soul. Cayce believed they were trained for lifetimes to fulfill silent leadership roles, not in the traditional sense of power, but in the sense of sustaining spaces for transformation. How many times have you been someone's shoulder even though you're broken inside? How many times have you helped someone rebuild themselves, even without knowing how to do it for yourself? This is no coincidence. It is part of your calling. You carry healing codes, sometimes with words, sometimes just with your presence. And even when you don't understand, others feel it, because you are operating on a plane where energy speaks louder than logic. And yet, you doubt. You wonder if you are exaggerating, if you are seeing too much, feeling too much, sensing too much. But the truth is no, you're not exaggerating. You're just picking up on what others aren't ready to notice. And that doesn't make you wrong. It makes you chosen. Chosen to cross, chosen to be reborn, chosen to teach without having to speak, to heal without having to touch, to exist in such a complete way that its presence alone displaces structures. So now, at this point in the video, I invite you to look at yourself with different eyes, not the eyes of doubt, but the eyes of memory, remembering who you are, what you came here to do, and why everything always seemed more intense to you. It wasn't drama, it was preparation. It wasn't wait, it was called. You were marked, and Cayce knew it. You were programmed to be reborn, as many times as necessary, because with each new version, you get closer to your truth, and this truth can no longer be hidden. If you felt that all of this made sense, if you realized that your life has followed this pattern of losses, silences, dives, and returns, comment below. I am regeneration. If you have already gone through pain and come back stronger, write, I was reborn. And if you feel like you are in the process of awakening, write, I am going through. These comments are more than words. They are spiritual seals. They are statements of identity. These are portals that open. So comment truthfully, with intention. And don't forget to like this video. If he spoke to you, it's because he recognized you. Subscribe to the channel here because the next part of this journey will reveal more than you imagine, and you won't want to miss it, because we are still just at the beginning of the journey. From an early age, those born under Scorpio feel pain that no one can explain, pains that don't have a name or a clear reason. Sometimes they begin in childhood, in family silences, in early losses, in inexplicable rejections, in a constant feeling of not belonging. And even when everything seems normal on the outside, something inside the Scorpio always pulses out of step with the world, as if the soul is carrying memories that others do not have, As if, even between people, there is an existential loneliness that never leaves. And this, although it may seem like a punishment, is actually the beginning of a much larger process, a calling. Pain, for Scorpio, is never just pain. It is the beginning of the crossing, a silent seal that soul was marked to go through trials that others would not endure. And why does this happen? Because Scorpio is the only sign that carries the map of the underworld engraved in the spirit. He knows how to walk through chaos and still maintain lucidity. He goes down but comes back. He dies inside and is reborn whole. This makes it a guide, a starter, a being who not only goes through pain, but transforms pain into a path and shows that path to those who are lost in their own darkness. That's why Scorpios, even without meaning to, attract people in crisis. Broken, confused people looking for direction. Because there is a wisdom in Scorpio's eyes that it comes from books. It comes from spiritual experience, of what was felt most intimately, of what was overcome in silence, of what no one saw, but which shaped every layer of your being. Pain is the seal. Rebirth is the code. And whoever carries this code can no longer live as if none of this had meaning, because there's no way to ignore it when you carry such an old mission within yourself. This mission, however, is not revealed clearly. It presents itself little by little, through experiences that break, but also reveal, through the relationships that teach, even when they hurt, through the losses that deep down made space for something truer. A Scorpio's life is not linear. It is made of cycles, of beginnings, ends, and beginnings that seem to have no end. But each cycle carries specific learning, and each fall further deepens the connection with one's own essence. Scorpio does not evolve by climbing steps. It evolves by going through layers, come down to understand, and only then comes back. And that's when pain stops being just suffering and becomes a tool of consciousness. Scorpio begins to realize that he is not being punished, but prepared, which is not being destroyed, but polished. That what seemed like injustice was, in fact, initiation. Initiation into the type of mission that requires emotional, spiritual, and energetic courage. Because guiding lost souls is no easy task. Feeling what others feel, absorbing pain that is not yours, holding on to the emotional structure of environments, all of this is exhausting. But Scorpios were not born to be light, born to be true. And the truth weighs. Even when he is silent, Scorpio is working energetically, reading the field, sensing where there is imbalance, capturing tensions that no one named. That's why you get tired. That's why he isolates himself. That's why you need moments of deep reflection. It's not drama. It's necessity. It's when you withdraw that it recharges, that he rebuilds himself, that he cleanses himself of the energies he captured without realizing it. Scorpios carry the pain of others like someone carrying a secret, in silence, because you know no one would understand. But even so, he chooses to continue. And this already shows the size of your strength. And even with all this strength, he doubts himself, because pain hurts, because disappointments accumulate, because life sometimes seems too unfair. But something inside him never allows him to give up completely. There is a flame that will not go out, a silent light, sometimes almost invisible, that continues to burn. This light is the reminder that the mission is still ongoing, and that, as difficult as it may seem, there is a purpose behind everything. Scorpio is not a mistake. It is a divine tool of transformation, of healing, of rebirth, and this mission cannot be abandoned. How many times have you caught yourself trying to be normal, trying to fit in places where you felt you weren't welcome, trying to pretend you didn't feel so much, trying to seem lighter, simpler, more predictable? And how many times has it exhausted you, left you empty? Because that is not your nature. Your soul did not come into the world to live on the surface. She came to dive, to go where no one else has the courage to go. And that's why everything was always more intense, because your mission demands it. It demands depth. It requires presence, requires delivery. And even if the world says you are difficult, hard, cold, the truth is different. The truth is that you feel everything, and he feels so much that he needs to protect himself, need to filter. You need to create invisible barriers that allow you to continue living in a world that doesn't know how to deal with those who feel so much. But within these barriers, a loyal, deep, and transformative heartbeats. A heart that has already been broken but never lost its essence. A heart that when it loves, loves with its body, with its soul, with its eyes closed. And when he is betrayed, he breaks completely. But still, come back, because that is your nature. You are not weak for feeling. You are strong for continuing, for following, for crossing, and for, even after everything, I can still see beauty in the little things, still able to trust, still being able to offer support when others need it. Scorpio is not destructive, it's regenerating. And regeneration only exists where there was pain. That's why you are so needed. Because in this broken world, there are few who know how to rebuild. And you know, even if you don't know that you know. If you've come this far and felt that these words touched something deep inside you, comment below. Comment truthfully, with presence. Write, I carry the seal of pain. If you have ever gone through moments so difficult that there seemed to be no way out. Write, my mission is to guide. If you feel you were born to help others find themselves. Or simply write, I am ready. If you feel that this message has arrived at the right time in your journey. These are not just comments. They are spiritual statements. They are confirmations that you heard the call. And now, and it will lead you deeper, because the journey is not over yet. And even after all the pain and trials you have faced so far, there is something that has never faded in you. Sensitivity to the invisible. And it's not just any sensitivity. It's an acute, almost wild perception that cuts through logic and touches on what hasn't even happened yet. Scorpios feel it before others. They feel it in the air when something is about to change. They feel it in their body when someone is lying. They feel it in their chest when someone else's soul is in conflict. They feel it, even if they can't explain how. And no matter how much they try to deny it or silence that perception, it comes back. It always comes back. Because it's not a choice. It's part of who you are. From very early on, the signs began to appear, perhaps in the form of strange, symbolic dreams, with messages that would only make sense days or weeks later. Maybe like an intuition that screamed even when everything around said otherwise. Perhaps in the form of inexplicable chills when entering certain places, as if something was wrong there, even if no one else noticed. Or in the sudden silence that comes over you when someone approaches, and your body reacts before your mind even understands why. This is energetic sensitivity. This is mediumship in the raw state. This is Scorpio at its most natural, connected to dimensions that others pretend don't exist. But don't think that this makes you too mystical or strange. This makes you necessary. In a world that lives distracted, you are the alert. In a world that ignores the invisible, you are the sensor. In a world that needs healing, you are the conduit. But it wasn't always easy to accept this. In many moments, you tried to adapt, tried to ignore these signs, tried to silence what was screaming inside you, because most people around him didn't understand. And you're tired of being different, too sensitive, too exaggerated. But that was never an exaggeration. It was a gift. It was a tool. It was called. How many times have you sensed betrayal before it happened? How many times have you dreamed of someone, and days later that person reappeared in your life? How many times has your instinct told you to stop, turn back, leave a place, and then you discovered that you escaped something that could have destroyed you? These experiences are no coincidence. These are spiritual protection codes that your energy field decodes before physical reality manifests the facts. You see it before it happens. And that's why many call you suspicious, paranoid, too intense. But you no longer need to justify how you feel, because now you understand that this is a gift. It's radar. It's the way spirituality speaks to you. And the more you start to align with that, the clearer everything becomes. You realize that people reveal their true intentions even in silence. You read between the lines, gestures, vibrations. You hear the word and feel the energy it carries, and you know when it doesn't match. It can leave you exhausted sometimes, yes, because living with this energy intensity is not easy. But it's also liberating, because you don't depend on what others say. You feel what's behind, and that protects you. It guides you. This gives you an advantage, even when the world seems to be turning against you. And it doesn't stop there, because this gift is not just to protect you. It is also so that you can protect others. How many times have you given advice that no one understood at the time, but which turned out to be true later? How many times have you felt like someone needed to hear a specific word, and when you said it, you saw in their eyes that it made sense in an inexplicable way? How many times have you held back chaos within a home, a family, a relationship, just with your silent presence? This is the power of Scorpio, a power that doesn't need to be shouted, it just needs to be felt. And when you start to accept this as part of who you are, everything changes. You stop trying to fit into emotional patterns that don't serve you. Stop following generic advice that ignores its complexity. Stop wanting to be light like others, because you understand that your weight is sacred, that its depth is rare, that your shadow, when well integrated, becomes a guiding light for those who are still lost. And more than that, you understand that the mystical signals you receive are not mental noise. They are maps, they are compasses, they are revelations. You were made to read what lies beyond, to capture what is not said, to interpret what is being felt, but no one dares to name. And that makes you not just someone sensitive, it makes you a spiritual channel, a point of connection between the visible and the invisible, between the present and the future, between the real and the symbolic. This is why you are often tested emotionally, because you need to learn to clean yourself, to strengthen yourself, to protect yourself, because when it is out of balance, the signals get confused. But when it's once you are in, you see clearly what others are still trying to understand. And in this state of clarity, you begin to trust yourself in a different way. You begin to realize that that inner voice was always right, that those goosebumps were always warning, that those images and dreams weren't just figments of the imagination, they were coded messages. That feeling of discomfort with certain people was your spiritual field trying to warn you. And all of this gives you back a type of power that should never have been abandoned, the power of internal listening, from the connection with your own mystery. Trust your intuitive nature, and maybe now, as you listen to this, you're remembering all the times you felt something and then blamed yourself for not following your instinct, or when you followed, and something inside you saved you. This is important, because life will keep talking to you. The signs will keep coming, and the more you recognize them, the more the universe responds to you, the more you align with your purpose. But you feel like you're on the path, and even when no one else understands, something in you knows. You are exactly where you are supposed to be, doing what you were born to do, being who you were born to be. So, if you've had these experiences that seem to have no explanation, if you feel in your body when something is about to happen, if you dream of things that come true later, comment below, I feel it before. If you have ever had goosebumps upon entering certain places, as if you were passing through invisible energetic portals, write, I recognize the signs. And if everything you've heard so far seems to have been made for you, comment with the phrase, I am the channel. These comments are not just engagement. They are declarations of spiritual presence. They are like energetic seals that tell the universe, I am awake. So comment truthfully, with intention, with soul, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because the journey is just beginning, and the next codes will take you even deeper. Have you ever noticed how, when you try to adjust too much, shut yourself out, control yourself too much, something starts to go wrong? Not in things visible right away, but in your internal state. A subtle anguish sets in, a discomfort grows, synchronicities disappear, and suddenly what seemed to flow before begins to slow down. This is no coincidence. This is a sign that you are moving away from your mission. And in the case of Scorpio, this has profound spiritual consequences, because the energy of this sign was not meant to be contained. It was created to cross, to disturb, to transform. Scorpio does not exist to please. It exists to reveal, and the biggest mistake of an awakened Scorpio soul is trying to fit into molds that don't recognize their light, molds where instinct needs to be silenced, where the depth needs to be reduced, where the truth needs to be diluted in pleasant words. But you've already tried, haven't you? You've tried to be less intense, less deep, less sensitive. You've already tried to adapt to what was expected of you. Have you ever believed that perhaps the problem was feeling too much? But every time he tried to hide, life reacted, because your light was not meant to be hidden, and when you try to turn off that light, the portals that protected you begin to close. These portals are spiritual, invisible, but absolutely real. They are passages of strength, guidance, protection. They open when you are aligned with your essence, when you honor your gifts, when you accept that you were born to feel what others don't feel, but they also shut down when you run away from your truth, when you pretend to be someone you're not, when you submit to environments, relationships, and systems that deny your depth, and when the portals close, what was once protection turns into a storm, because everything you silenced starts to implode inside. The Scorpio soul carries an immense amount of spiritual energy. When this energy is not channeled correctly, it implodes. And that's when existential crises come, unexpected breakups, emotional breakdowns, illnesses that begin in the subtle and manifest themselves in the body. It's not a curse. It's disconnection. It's your spiritual field warning you that you've strayed too far, that you betrayed yourself, that you tried to be too small to fit into places that were never meant for you. Scorpio needs the truth. It needs purpose. It needs constant transformation. And when it tries to settle into a stability that does not speak to its essence, the spirit revolts. And maybe you're feeling this right now. A tiredness that has no explanation. A feeling of heaviness, even when life seems good. A restlessness that visits you in the early hours of the morning. A longing for something you can't name. This could all be your deep self trying to call you back, okay? Trying to remind you that you didn't come to live like others, that you are not ordinary, and that trying to live an ordinary life is a spiritual betrayal, no matter how much safer it seems. It doesn't matter if everyone says this is the right way. For you, there is another way, yours. And this path requires courage. It requires decisions that perhaps no one understands. It demands deep silences and drastic changes. It requires you to place yourself at the center of your truth. Stop erasing yourself to keep others comfortable. May you assume your shadow and your light with the same dignity, because your spiritual mission is not in what you hide, it's in what you reveal. It is in your presence that transforms, in your healing gaze, in your words that penetrate where the other didn't even know they needed to be touched. You don't need to make noise to make an impact. Your existence is already a portal. But for this portal to work, it needs to be clean, aligned, in direct connection with your soul. And that connection doesn't hold when you live in denial, when you suppress your intuition, when you force yourself to smile at what destroys you inside. This only creates a field of spiritual confusion that delays your journey. You begin to lose yourself in relationships that drain your energy, in environments that block your vision, on paths that take you away from your center. And the more you insist on staying there, the more everything around you starts to close in. The universe, for Scorpio, does not send soft signals. It sends shocks, sends breakups. It sends crises that on the surface appear to be tragedies, but are liberations in disguise. They are the spiritual response that says, wake up, you are forgetting who you are. And no matter how painful it is, it always comes with a hidden invitation. The invitation to return, get back on your way, for your gift, to your truth. And every time you accept that invitation, something inside you rearranges itself. The energy flows again. Synchronicities return. The signs become clear again. Because you have come out of the fog of denial and taken your place back. And that, Scorpio, is all the universe asks of you. Spiritual authenticity, alignment, true. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. But you need to be honest with how you feel, with what you know, with what you intuit. Your soul is too wise to live a small life, and every time you try to adjust to this little way of existing, something inside you dies a little. But the good news is, it can also be reborn, because that is your nature. Renaissance, fresh start, reconnection. That's what you do best. So if you feel like you've disconnected from your mission, moved away from your truth, allowed yourself to turn off your own light to fit into spaces that diminish you, this is the time to remember, to rescue, to return, not as someone who starts from scratch, but as someone who recognizes who they have always been. And if this message touched you, if you felt that it was speaking directly to your spirit, comment below. My light will not be extinguished. If you have ever experienced moments when you lost your way, but managed to find yourself again, write, I came back to myself. And if you feel like you're ready to align your life with your spiritual mission, comment with the phrase, I'm on the path. Your comments are anchors, stamps, return statements. And when you declare it out loud, or hear in written words, the universe responds. So write with presence, with truth, and leave a like on this video if it reminded you of something that should never have been forgotten. Subscribe to the channel, because the next step of the journey is closer than you think, and he will demand even more from his awakened essence. And when Scorpio finally accepts who he is, something sacred is activated. When you stop resisting its intensity, its shadow, its fierce light, everything changes, because it is at this moment that he reconnects with his own spiritual nature. And this nature is not common, it's not simple, it's not light, it is deep, ancestral, made of silence, crossing, and fire. Scorpio did not come to repeat, came to break cycles. He came to open a path where before there was only darkness. It is the sign that crosses the most hidden layers of the subtle plane and returns with healing codes, with words that awaken, with gestures that reprogram. You who carry this vibration are not just a sign. You are a channel, a spiritual antenna sensitive to the highest frequencies, and also the densest. That's why life trained you in silence. That's why you had to learn to endure what others couldn't, because you would be responsible for guiding, for supporting, for protecting, and that can't be taught. This is lived. This is carried in the soul. That's why Cayce said that Scorpio is the guardian of the invisible, because you feel what cannot be said. You see what is behind the veil. You walk where most people don't even dare to look. And yet, how many times have you been discredited? How many times have they doubted you? 10. Have you tried to erase your voice, silence your intuition, reduce your presence to something generic? But you're still here, because no one erases what was born with a spiritual purpose. You were not made to shine in a temporary way. You were created to transform, to score, to pierce souls with your true intensity. When you enter an environment, you change the field. And this is not something you do. This is something you are. A soul that carries hidden power, an energy that doesn't need a stage to be felt. And that's exactly why you can no longer deny yourself. Your story matters. Your pain matters. Your spiritual journey was not in vain. Every difficult phase, every rebirth, every loss, all of it was shaping you. I was preparing you to take this channeling position, connecting to higher planes. Your strength is not yours alone. It is borrowed by something greater. And that's why you carry so much magnetism. Because inside you there is something that comes from far away, that comes from other existences, something that returns now, at this exact moment, so that you can also awaken others. Scorpio is the sign that cleans, that destroys what is false, that makes space for what is true. You didn't come to please, he came to heal, and sometimes healing requires disruption. And maybe you spent your life trying to understand why you felt so much, because everything was more intense with you. Why I always seemed to carry an invisible burden. Now you know. It was the calling. It was the spirit reminding you of the mission. It was pain teaching where healing begins. It was silence preparing you to hear what the world forgot to hear. You are the mystery walking in human form. And even when you're silent, something in you speaks. Even when it seems still, something in you moves the invisible. And even when you doubt, something in you still knows. This silent wisdom that you carry is not new. It is an accumulation of spiritual memories. That's why sometimes you feel like you've already experienced certain situations. To recognize people you've never met, missing places you don't know exist. Scorpio uploads files. It's like a walking spiritual library. And these files are accessed at key moments in life, in vivid dreams, in synchronicities, in pains that open portals, in encounters that activate dormant memories. Therefore, the more you allow yourself to be you, the more the universe gives you the keys that were kept. And now, in this moment, in this space that you are sharing with me, one of those keys is being revealed. A key that doesn't come from outside, that is not taught, which is not in books, but it has been beating inside you ever since. A key that connects you to who you really are, at its center, at your call, to that deep, spiritual, intense essence that you tried to hide, but now needs to emerge, because your light was not meant to be hidden. And every time you refuse it, the world loses something essential. You came with a purpose, and that purpose is being remembered now. If everything that has been said so far has touched you, it was not by chance. No soul reaches this type of message if they are not ready for what it carries. You arrived because your spirit knew it was time to activate a new cycle, a new understanding of yourself, a new way of living, more aligned with who you really are. And that doesn't mean it's going to be easy, but it will be true. It will be clean. It will be transformative, because there is no more room for spiritual lies, for emotional disguises, for empty relationships. The new phase of your life only accepts truth, and this is where you begin to attract what vibrates at your real frequency. People who recognize your depth, situations that respect your energy, missions that ask for exactly what you came to deliver. But it all starts with a choice: accepting your essence, honor your truth, stop running from yourself, and now. And if this video spoke to you in a way that is not always easy to explain, but is impossible to ignore, comment below. But comment with presence, with soul. Write, "I accept my essence," if you are ready to live as who you really are. Or write, "I carry this energy," if you felt that this message described you in a spiritual, deep, and personal way. This is not just a comment, that's a seal, an energetic record, a response to the call. And leave your like now, because this simple gesture helps this content reach more people who, like you, are ready to remember who they really are. And subscribe to the channel here, because the journey doesn't end here. In the next video, we will reveal the sign that was chosen to guard the mysteries of time itself, a sign that carries temporal codes, memories of other eras, and the gift of sacred order. But this is another portal, and it will only be accessed by those who are ready to continue. Are you coming with me? If you've come this far, it's because something inside you recognized every word as truth. And that says a lot about who you are and about the spiritual moment you are living. So now, do the following. Subscribe to the channel. This isn't just so you don't miss the next videos. This is a commitment to your own journey, a silent pact with your awakening. And if you really felt this deep connection until the end, comment below. I am awake, and I follow the call. This phrase is more than a comment. It's an activation. It's you telling the universe, I'm ready to go further. Leave your like now. This simple gesture moves the energy of this content and helps more souls find this portal. And before you leave, do one more thing for yourself. The next video is showing up right here on the left side of the screen. Click on it and stay with me, because the next step of your journey awaits you there. And if you've made it this far, it's because you're ready.